Hi.
Let's see, I'll go ahead and post the link to Getter here as well, and then we can get started.
Okay, you have to tweet as well.
Tweet? I don't have Twitter up, actually.
Okay, give me the, I'll do it. Okay, you have to tweet.
Right. Did you just copy the YouTube link from the address bar when you've been sharing that?
Yep.
Okay.
Congratulations, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. Let's see here.
Kyle's on vacation, so he hasn't released my promo snapshot, and I'm just like, I need details.
So it's PM2 now?
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Okay, that's posted.
Okay, it's on Gitter, right?
Yeah, on Getter.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll share my screen. I've got ZenHub up here. Okay, everyone see that okay?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so I figured I'd start going through the burn down here since we don't. Do let me know if you see anyone else join who needs promoted to a panelist, by the way. I think we.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, because I won't see that while I'm screen sharing.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, there's still a good amount we got done this sprint. A few different interruptions, so I think like a lot of our recent sprints, not quite as much as we wanted to get done, but still good progress. There are a number of updates we made to the browser extension. We've got the infrastructure in to support doing different themes based on the browser we're running in. So we have our Fluent design, and then we have the foundation started for the Photon design that I know we'll be working with Victoria to kind of continue forward on the implementation, especially now that we have the mocks, which I liked how those looked. And then we've done a few different bug fixes, I think, that are floating around in here. We added a contributing file for the extension to make it easier for people to ramp up, get the initial build done with instructions on how to switch the design systems. Let's see. And then, yeah, this was one of the bug fixes, just as we've been running across different live sites. And yeah, switching colors on theme. So, that's where a lot of the work was done on the extension. And I think we're still outstanding items we had on that where we still wanted to look a bit more into accessibility testing. We have a pretty good idea on where some of the time is going on certain pages where we're taking a long time to get results. A lot of that's coming from Axe. There is a bit coming from Hint Compat API, and I'm in the middle of a refactor. I was just talking with David right before this meeting to kind of cut over to our new is supported helper utility we had written and refactor Hint Compat API around that, which should help speed it up. So no fixes there just yet, but work in progress. And then, oh yeah, Stephanie, thank you for the icon updates, by the way. We did get that rolled into the little narwhal icon rolled into the update for the browser extension that we put out. We're still working in Firefox. We have some discussion going on around how to pick up the right colors. There's an internal feature they're using inside their DevTools that, since we're an extension, we don't actually get to take advantage of. It's called Context Paint for SVG, but it's behind a flag for the general web because it has not been proposed for a standards track yet. And so we'll see what Harold's got an issue he opened to kind of have a further discussion there about what we might do for extensions to allow them to better align with the theming selection in the DevTools, especially since a lot of them are running in dark mode and the default icons tend to be dark, and then don't display very well
Mhm.
when you're running in dark mode.
Yeah, and the biggest problem, because we are handling correctly the dark and light themes, the problem is when we are selecting the tab, is in the Firefox DevTools, the icon changes, and when you're in light theme, I think it's blue, and when you are in dark theme, it's completely white, while it's not selected, it's in gray, if I remember. So that's the selected status that we are not handling correctly.
Yeah, and what we put up there, we have at least enough information that we can match the initial theme. So we can do a little bit better than, we already do a little bit better than the default behavior, where we'll use a gray icon, a light gray icon if we're on the dark theme, or a dark gray icon if we're in a light theme. But we have no hooks to give us any awareness about that highlight color or when that happens. So it ends up looking a little out of place. Other small note that isn't mentioned in here, but our bug fix for Firefox went live with Firefox 67 this week for the on-request finish API, DevTools API, which was affecting us being able to get requests and actually do analysis of the different sub-resources that were coming along with the page. We had a workaround for that, but it was kind of causing its own set of problems, and that was the source of some of the errors we were dealing with. So it was nice to be able to have that shift, rip out kind of the incomplete workaround, and just use that event directly. So, okay, Anton, you want to talk a bit about, let's see.
Connector Puppeteer.
Connector Puppeteer, yes, that's what I was going for.
Yes, so Connector Puppeteer has been finally merged and version 1.0 has been published. Cool thing is that it supports Edge already, which is pretty cool, and Chrome and Chromium.
Yeah, we have most of that listed here under Chromium Connector.
Yes, everything is
We
Chromium.
ended up renaming it along the way.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we're renaming it is that Firefox is working on supporting Puppeteer as well. So instead of creating one connector now and then do a breaking change with the renaming, it's like, let's just call it Chromium Connector Puppeteer. So it's pretty cool. We have all the tests running with Puppeteer instead with the old connector Chromium. And we also added a new feature that allows you to authenticate on websites. And that hasn't been published yet. It just got merged yesterday, but will go in the next release that we do next week, which is, I'm super happy because, well, it was one of the first community feature requested like many months ago. So pretty happy with that finally landing. Also, there are some problems on CI with Puppeteer. I think that I read an email this morning that Chrome has been finally updated on Windows CI. So we might want to, yeah, I'll do a test to see if tests actually pass on Windows. Right now we are ignoring Puppeteer on Windows because the Chrome install version is relatively old. I think it's like 6 months old, and Puppeteer doesn't work nicely with it. But it looks like it's been updated. So I'll give it a try today and see if we can enable those again.
Okay. Let's see. And then one of the other big items has been continued work on the serverless migration. Saab, you want to talk at all to the progress we've made on that?
Yeah, we've converted 2 of them to serverless on Azure. Now they can be used on AWS as well. And then I've had both PRs up, and I think David is looking at creating a staging setup so that we can test them out in staging before we deploy in production. I just completed those 2 tasks that were open. I think you can see that. But
I'm on mute. These 2 at the bottom, right? Were the tasks you're talking about?
Yep.
The migrate and the deploy?
Yep.
Great. And then what's kind of refresh my memory, what's kind of the next step for that? We're trying to switch over production?
if this works perfectly, which it should, I don't see why it shouldn't, then we will, we can deploy this, or we can hold off until we convert the rest of the services. I know we have like the job manager, configuration manager, backup service and stuff like that. And then once everything is, so I don't know if you're aware of it, we've split it out into 2 projects now. So it's like the existing online services that are based on Node services, and then the serverless ones. So we are kind of like picking them out of one project and putting them into another. So hopefully by the end of it, either everything from online service moves to serverless, or we'll have at least everything that we can convert to serverless over to the new project. And then the remaining, like something like backup service, which needs like a large amount of space to back up the database, that may not be suitable for a function. So we'll have to still discuss what we do with that one.
Okay. One other thing I was just thinking of, I don't remember we discussed, are we going to be doing any particular tests to validate the kind of multi-cloud support on top of serverless? Like, are we going to try standing up at least just kind of a staging thing on AWS or anything?
That'd be nice. I mean, that's at least the hope. I was asking Anton if he has account in AWS last time. I don't, but I'm sure they have like a free credit thing, or maybe someone in our org has some AWS thing. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, because that'd be kind of cool to demonstrate that all that works at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was counting on Charlie Robbins to validate that part of the work, as he's the one that requested making it work on AWS. So it would be nice to test it before we merge, but yeah.
You added him to the PR, right?
I've mentioned him a few times. I mean, he's been doing work on some other projects, so yeah, he should be more or less aware that we are doing progress, slowly but surely.
Cool.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. That's cool stuff. Excited to see that moving forward. And I think that mostly covers kind of all the big items that we tackled. I know we still have, I think I already moved it forward to the next milestone, but one of the things I didn't end up with time to get to is we've done most of the theming for having different themes based on the browser you're running in, but I still haven't gotten around to doing the syntax highlighting color themes. So that's moved back to the next sprint, but we are still going to go forward and do that. At a minimum, I want to get the infrastructure set up with the basic examples, align the Fluent design, and then we can kind of see what else we'll need to align with Photon for Firefox. And Anton, anything else you can think of I'm forgetting here?
We released 2 versions. So we bumped it to 5.0 and 5.01 the same day, I believe. And then we are now at 5.02 or 1, I don't know.
I'd have to look, but
yes. So we did a release of all the packages that was pending, and looks like the release script is working nice.
yeah, we had a few different fixes along the way. I think we spent about a day on that together.
Yes, but it's working now.
No, it's great. No, it's so nice to have that.
Yeah. So so now that we've done all the major breaking things, we should be able to ship at least once per week. I think it's going to be the goal.
Good.
Maybe on Mondays and not Fridays.
It'd also be nice, maybe we still have that task to align Dependabot to kind of update maybe on a once a week schedule.
Yes.
I know that was something we were thinking of as we were partway through running the release, was making sure we didn't have any other PRs get auto merged while we're halfway through it. So
yeah, we should probably do that.
Yeah. I'll switch over to the notes here. So also, if you don't have them yet, the links for the Chrome Web Store and the Firefox, I forget the actual name for, is it Marketplace? Add-ons Marketplace. But basically you can get the Webpin extension, the preview extension we have posted in both of those. We had kind of the issue I was talking about earlier with the icon theme that we need to kind of discuss and see if there's a better way we can resolve that. And there are some discussions going around about on Bugzilla around an API for the dev to be able to open the DevTools network panel, because that's something we can't do in any browser today. We've been hashing out some things there. I still don't know priority-wise if where that sits, if that's something we'd be able to experiment with sooner or rather than later, but it's nice to kind of have the discussion moving forward and sharing use cases and figuring out how that should look. And then we still probably need, as once Victoria is available, we'll kind of sync and continue moving forward with the Photon design and getting that integrated. Otherwise, yeah, we mentioned the release packages, new extensions, the serverless and authentication. I think Compat API is still in progress. Oh yeah, one of the other things is from testing the extension, the Android WebView 4.4.3 pops up for a lot of the CSS properties in Hint Compat API. We did some investigation into that and identified that it shouldn't be showing up in the defaults query for browsers list. I'd opened an initial PR for that. Unfortunately, my original approach would require them to release a major version because it'd be breaking. So I'll be going back and refactoring that in a way that can still be released in a point update so that we can get that. And basically the goal is it'll reduce noise from what Hint Compat API is currently generating. So right now we're flagging a whole bunch of CSS properties as not supported in all browsers in the default target browsers because this is popping in there. Let's see. I don't think we've done. Yeah, I have not disabled the manifest property yet. So that'll be something we'll look at. We do have multiple builds now for the extension, so it'll be easier to kind of have a separate manifest to get rid of the warning we're getting for background page not being persistent. I don't think I know Harold opened up a doc to start drafting a blog post. I don't think we've had any further discussions around creating a survey around the extension yet. Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but.
Yeah, no, we haven't. He shared the blog post with me, but it's pretty much just an empty draft at this point. So
yeah, something for us to kind of work on together.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And then, actually, I think that's redundant.
It's not entirely the same thing.
Okay.
The one is the blog post with the announcement, and the other is like Firefox has infrastructure to ping like developers that are using the extension or to send them surveys or things like that. So the idea is to get feedback from the extension of things that we should be tweaking and such.
Okay.
So probably they should be done both at the same time, but they are like independent, and we can probably reuse we'll be reusing everything and sharing the blog post and surveys on our site as well, but they are like two different things.
And then so it sounds like they do have infrastructure. Do we know where that data goes, or do we have access to the data, or is that their data?
No, well, they will be sharing that with us. That's what I understood from Harald. That it's like, okay, let's do it together, and then let's look at the data together.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I think that kind of covers everything that was on our list. Is there anything else new or otherwise that anyone wanted to bring up? Otherwise, we can kind of start talking about what we want to accomplish next.
Yep.
Okay, so I think kind of like the previous sprints, this is going to be a little bit of the same as before, where we've got a few things that carry forward. Anton is going to be out in about a week, so we can't put a lot on him. But much deserved time off, Anton.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call that time off, but
yes, busy time off. You will be, yes, plenty busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, enjoy your summer.
And so far, get both milestones open here. So far, move forward the continued refactor for Hint Compat API, because we know that's going to drive benefit to the extension. We definitely still want to do the accessibility testing, so we should bring that forward. And we'll continue. Some of this is going to tie into the Hint Compat API refactor, but we'll continue to kind of drill down on where we're spending too much time.
Yeah, I did a comment yesterday of the two things that we are investigating. So
The Axe and Compat API.
yeah, and Axe is like the testing with one of the beta versions, because there's been perf improvements in the last few weeks in there.
Okay.
But they haven't
I hope
published
that
it.
helps.
Sorry?
I said, I hope that helps.
Yeah, I mean, at least the numbers on GitHub look pretty promising, but they haven't published a new version in 2 months. So
Okay.
there's that.
And then Utsav for the serverless stuff, is some of this probably, or this, oh no, this is specifically for running Chromium. We may not have dug into this yet. Is this one that needs to move forward? Is it in progress? Where are we sitting at with this one?
I mean, I'll probably, once we have the testing in staging done, I'll probably just move to converting more of the services into serverless.
Okay, so we're not digging into this one so much right now, probably not for next sprint. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and clear the milestone. We can move this one back into the backlog, and then when we're ready to look at it in the future, we can. That'll be the online scanner, right? Yeah. And then syntax highlighting, I'd still like to get to. I had already moved that one forward. And we have a task. Right now, all of the extension releases we're doing are manual. We'd like to get those automated a bit more as part of our release script and build process. Anton's got that parts of that in progress.
Yep.
I don't know if this week is going to be enough to finish it up. I don't know if this.
So I think that the Firefox one can be done. The Chrome one, I need to look into the API if we can automatically submit something. The only thing that we need to take into account is the delay that we have between Chrome's approval and Firefox one. Chrome takes like about a week for us to get approval, and Firefox is immediate.
Okay.
So if we publish a new release, we will be canceling the previous submission and then starting again the process with Chrome.
Yeah, so if we're doing something almost once a week and it takes a week, we could end up just continually canceling it if we're not paying attention.
Exactly. So we should probably like make sure that when we release that the version is published, and that probably will still have to be manual.
Yeah, it kind of feels to me that finishing this up may be something that's for a little further out.
There are a few things that I want to do. I mean, there are a few things to do, like auto increment the version number and then do the commit.
Okay.
A couple other things. And I think I can do the signing of the Firefox one. I mean, at the end.
And this doesn't include, actually, yeah, this doesn't even say in the title. I was assuming this auto submission, but that's not what this particular task is about.
Yeah, I mean, the signing of the Firefox extension automatically submits. So.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see. I'd like to get this done next week. So.
Okay, we'll keep it in.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to kind of clear so we can look at the overall set, see if there's anything else, because actually let me filter to just this milestone for a second, because we've got 8 story points queued up so far. So I think we've got a little bit more room. Granted, we'll only have Anton for half of it, but we can probably bring in a couple other things.
We have David back.
Right, so offset, lose one, gain another.
And we know that David is the one making progress in this project.
Yeah, all the real work gets done by David. We're just here watching.
Mhm.
And
There
we're-
is one. There is the one that you have right below 2467 enable connector Puppeteer for Windows in CI. That's one that I want to test because it's supposed to be working now after yesterday's update. So
Okay, so let's bring that into this milestone.
that should be like 0.5 if you want to vote.
Yeah, I didn't, and I need to move it into the backlog still. Okay, backlog. You're thinking 5.5. Got it. This guy, I need to take a task this sprint to just kick off the discussions in the browser compat data repository. So it's not going to all get fixed, but it has to start with changes to the data. These are just different scenarios where we're not able to line up with the browser compat data without kind of hard-coded knowledge of how it's stored. And so there's a few different ways I think we could make this better. And so right now they're just gaps in the analysis. And I think kicking off those discussions would be good. Another thing that actually didn't show up in the retrospective is we did comment on the browser compat data repository just to share the abstraction we had put into WebHint around simplifying querying the browser compat data and to kind of see if that's something that there might be broader interest in. Okay, I'm gonna. This will probably get split out since, like I said, there won't really be implementation. So as far as the time I'll spend on it, this is just small to kind of open the issue. Okay. There it goes. Okay. Let's see. We've kind of got, it sounded to me like we had plenty of work already slated for the online service. But correct me if there's anything else we should consider doing in that space that's not currently sitting in the backlog.
So there are we have a problem right now with the website.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you just opened that one. Is that sitting in website?
Yeah, probably at the bottom. Or maybe not. Maybe I just move it up.
I know what you're talking about though. There it is. This one.
Yes.
Yeah, we
So
need.
right now. So I think that it would be nice to have the online service to use version 5.0 or the latest one and update the HTML formatter in the website as well. I don't know how long it can take.
So this would be updating the existing online service.
So there are a couple of things in here. First is figuring out why the HTML formatter is breaking the latest version, why it doesn't work with the data. And it might be because we are still using 4.5 in the online scanner, and the latest one might be for 5 point something.
Okay.
Which doesn't make too much sense to me, but because we didn't change the output. But I mean, so there are two things like HTML formatter, how to make it work in the website, and then update the online service to use the latest version of Hint.
So the branch that we are testing that I synced with David yesterday for online service that removes the two serverless things, that already has the updated 5.02, I think.
Okay.
The one that we updated on Friday and tested it out. So if we deploy that to staging and test it out, that should test out the latest version.
Okay, perfect. So then it's figuring out why the HTML formatter breaks the website. And it breaks it when we run a scan. This is the same issue that Harold reported a couple of weeks back when we did the initial release. For now, I just block on depend about the updates for those two packages.
Okay. Yeah. Seems like something we should take a look at before we get too far behind ourselves.
Mm-hmm. David, something you want to say?
No, I can take care of this if you want.
Okay. I'm not going to bother putting an estimate on this right now since we've got to, it's an investigation. We don't have a clue till we dig in, but we'll move it in there. Although, let's see, did that make it over? Yeah. Of course, that's under reporting the actual amount of work we've got sitting here. So maybe I'm going to change my position on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. Maybe we should give this 1-2 days.
I think 1 is okay.
Okay. And Anton, I doubt, do you still think you'll look into the accessibility testing in your last week, or you'll probably have other things you need to wrap up and this will be someone else?
I'm not sure I'll have time for that one.
I'm going to clear you as the assignee here.
Okay.
This is open for, because I don't think this has to be you.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is probably
say a couple of days.
A couple days to start, could turn into more. I think we're in pretty good state, at least from the keyboard accessibility standpoint, and with contrast. We'll see if anything else pops up.
Yeah, this is more like integrating, like spinning up a website that has the different panels and then run
acts against it.
It's in Bayit and see what it reports and fix it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put extra costing on the issue around time because we have the refactoring work going on there that's already costed.
Yeah, you can put like probably 1 in here.
Okay.
Or yeah.
1.5.
Yeah, maybe 1.5.
Okay, that's starting to feel more like a sprint. I still think we could probably bring in another couple items.
Yeah. I'll try to write some blog post also next week if I have time. So I think that we need
Okay, that'll be some time as well.
Yeah.
And then were there any other, okay, nothing else sitting in new issues. That's good. I'm missing one of the repo. Oh, that's the
new one.
The new one. We shouldn't have any issues tracked there yet.
No, I think there are PRs.
But we'll check it. Oh.
Yeah, it's a PR.
It's a PR. Okay.
I had a question for Stephanie. How does your next 2 weeks look like?
I'm only around 3 days because I'll be at CSS Conf and JS Conf.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I don't have a whole lot of time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. Yeah, enjoy and talk about WebHint. And I think that I think I told you that they are having the first CPC meeting of the OpenJS Foundation at the CSS. I think it's right before or during the CSS Conf at the same venue. So
yeah, I think it's during.
Okay, so
cool.
I am working on a couple icons so that I can match Victoria's design with the configuration page.
Okay, like to go next to the categories?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Do you want me to track that somewhere just so that we,
Sure.
I think that open a new issue, right?
Yeah.
What am I looking for? Do we don't have a design label, do we?
No, you can probably put it in browser extension.
Okay.
No.
I'll just create icons for or because yeah, these are the, because we have icons, but these are the small icons, right?
Yeah. And they're in the style of Fluent/Microsoft, but
We'll even say for hint categories in browser extension. Okay. And yeah, so you're probably not going to get that done this sprint if you only have 3 days.
well, I have 2 or 3 of them already, so I was planning to have them done by Tuesday.
Okay, you're quick. I will put that in the sprint then. So about how much time? do you think?
Just put a day.
Okay. See, when I get into, it's like I occasionally open Illustrator or Photoshop or something. When I've got to make something, it takes me forever because I don't know what I'm doing.
It depends on what I'm making.
Don't forget the epic
Oh, thank you.
and move it to backlog.
Which epic is this? Extension V1?
Oh, yeah.
I can type. And move it to backlog. Thank you, Anton. Okay, I don't think we need any more in there. Great. Yeah, between the hint Compat API refactor and the syntax theming, and I'm sure whatever else will come up in the next couple of weeks as we've regularly had new items pop up, that'll probably be enough.
Yeah,
Anything
and we
else?
still have like small issues in 1640 for the browser extension. So
Yeah, we'll still be continuing to make improvements there as well.
I think that you have plenty.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, anything else anyone's wanting to add, or should we call it? I'm going to take that as we're calling it. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Great. Let's let everyone get out of here 15 minutes early.
Perfect. No.
Good. Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, have a good weekend.
Bye.
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 Bye.